Good evening, everyone. Are we ready? Oh, we're having technical difficulties. This is the only night of the whole year we ever use these doors in this way. Welcome to Catmose College. I'm Stuart Williams, the principal. And this evening I'd like to talk through a little bit about admissions, because I know that's something that people worry about. And I'd also like to talk a little bit about the successes of the college alongside our ethos and the culture and the way we go about things. To start with, I will start with admissions. And a warning really, it doesn't matter whether you've got a brother or sister here, or you attend Catmose Primary, or you live in the next road. If you don't put an application in by the 31st of October, it will be considered late. And I have to say, every year over the last 8 years, I've said that, and honestly, every year, somebody thinks they don't need to, and then don't get offered a place. So please, 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 do make sure you get those applications in by the 31st of October in order that your application is considered on time. As many of you will be aware, we have been oversubscribed for many years now. For the last 2 years, however, the governors have agreed to take an extra 30 students because we've done some additional work around the building to accommodate that, and we will be doing that again this year to recognise the local demand that there are for places, because it's never our wish to turn anybody away who wishes to come here. But of course, on the other hand, one of the reasons we are so popular is because of our ethos and culture, and if we took more students, that would be eroded. We do have an admissions policy, and I'll go through the basis of that in a moment, and that determines who we admit, and we have to follow that admissions policy. Of course, there is also an appeals process if you're unhappy with that process. In terms of our priorities, the first one is students who have a statement of SEN or an education healthcare plan, and they would be admitted first. And what I've done is, in brackets, I've put the proportion of students who came to us on the 1st of September from that category. So 4% of our students in Year 7 had that as the reason for their admission. The second is looked after children, and there were no children last year who fell into that category. The third, which as you can see is a large proportion, actually is I think a really healthy sign of the college community, is that so many brothers and sisters come to this school, and that was 41% of applicants. The fourth one is attends Catmose Primary School, which is of course our feeder school. That just accounted for just 7%, very small proportion of our intake. Point 5, again, a healthy indicator of the health of this community is that so many staff want to send their children here, and that accounted for 1%. But the largest proportion was children who lived nearest the college by distance. We're fundamentally a community college, and therefore the governor's decision is to admit people who live closest to this college. And last year that was 47% of the intake, a significant proportion. And on the 1st of September, the furthest distance any child lived away from the college on that criteria was 8.9 miles. Now, that was last year. I don't know, standing here, how many people are going to put applications in, or where they are going to come from, or under which criteria. So those proportions could all change. But I do think it's a good indicator for you about what your chances are of success in terms of putting an application in. On admissions day, when the offers were made, it wasn't 8.9 miles, I should point out, it was about 5. But of course, like any secondary college, you get movement. You get people moving out of the area. You get some people choosing independent school places that are not part of this admissions. And so there is a waiting list, and a number of students who didn't get offers straight away did eventually get offers and were able to take up a place by the 1st of September. So just bear that in mind. If you do have any questions about admissions, please come and see me at the end, and I'll answer them as much as I can, given how much we know about it. Okay, let's move on. The college is a successful place. Our results are extremely strong. We do extremely well academically. This year is yet again our best ever GCSE results, and that's, I think, the 8th year on the run I've said that, and I'm pleased to be able to continue to say it. Whether Anand and Maisie from Year 11 feel so relaxed about how they're going to do in this year's GCSE results is, of course, another matter, but nevertheless, it's a very strong set of results. We had around 79% of our students getting GCSEs at C and above in English and maths, our best ever figure for that. We had 30 students, a full tutor group, a sixth of the cohort, getting at least 7 A or A star grades last year. Again, our best ever achievement for our most able students. And our middle ability students also had their best ever year as well. This year, we have a new performance indicator from the government called Progress 8. Some of you may have heard about it, and that measures how well students have done in 8 of their GCSEs compared to how they did at primary school, and measures their progress from primary. And again, we've had the figures of that from the government, and our results are significantly greater than the national average, which is Ofsted terminology for outstanding. And it doesn't matter actually whether you look at the progress of our students who have a statement of special educational needs, our middle ability students, or our high ability students. All of them perform well above the national performance. And you'll be able to measure that and look at that on the DFE performance tables for any school nationally before offer day if you wanted to look at that data. But I am confident in saying we are one of the highest performing schools, not just locally, but nationally. And that, of course, is a result of a lot of hard work on behalf of the staff, but equally so of the students and their parents. And that's what I want to go on to now, which is talk about the way we do things. And our underlying philosophy, our principle is one of trust. Quite rightly, that our students should be trusted. They should be able to come in and use this facility, which is a wonderful facility, as you will see when you go around and have a good look at the place. It's got fantastic computers, wonderful musical instruments, great assets in terms of the classroom spaces, and we allow our students to use them from 8 in the morning, and they can stay till 5 at night without any explicit supervision. There's always staff around. We don't have a staff room, so staff are always around the whole of the building. And so they're well looked after, but we find that we provide that absolute wraparound care, and we are very welcoming to our students. When you walk around the place, you will not find any locked doors. Every room is open to our students to use, and they can do that during break time, during lunch time, before school and after school. They can stay and use the computers to do their prep, or they can use the practice rooms to practice their musical instruments. And our whole ethos is built on that trust that actually our students want to be here, they want to work hard, and that's how we should treat them. Alongside that quite modern outlook of a student-centred school is very traditional values on the other hand, about turning up every day. You know, the average student at the college turns up 97% of the time, which is 1 or 2 days off in the entire year. We don't grant term time absence. We expect students to come in and take holidays the same as you might have to take as an employee. We expect students at Catmose to come in and work hard, not only in their lessons, but also outside of their lessons as well, in terms of what they do for their prep, but also in terms of how they contribute to the wider life of the college. We have a strict dress code. I have one. I wear a smart suit every day, and we expect the same of our students, because it says something about the pride they have in the community they belong to, and the way in which they think about their contribution to the college. And that contribution is that third pillar for success, is that it's not good enough just to turn up and do well in lessons. You have to put something back to the community to which you belong. And we expect every student to contribute to this community. And they can do it in lots of different ways, and I'll talk through some of them now, but everyone gets involved. And you'll see that when you walk around. Even now in Year 7, students are starting to earn their badges. These are badges of responsibility and badges of achievement. And of course, by the time they get to Year 11, they have lapels full. And of course, they complain when their parents have to wash their blazers because they have to get all of their badges back on in a nice straight line, or of course they ask their parents to. And how they contribute. Everybody is different, aren't we? And I think that's the richness of this community. We know that every single one of you in this audience has talents and skills, some of which you've no idea about at the moment. But we see it as our job to unlock those talents and skills and give you those opportunities to thrive and grow and develop. We know that GCSE results aren't the only thing. Yes, of course, they open up opportunities in the world of work and help get you into the best universities. But actually, when you're in the world of work, who worries about what GCSEs you've got? It's about how you're able to work as part of a team, show leadership, work with others, be resilient. When something goes wrong, still getting to work the next day and pick up and carry on and learn from your mistakes. And that's as critical to the life at Catmose as anything that might happen in the classroom. And of course, many students learn an awful lot from sport. They learn how to win, and of course they learn how to lose. They learn about teamwork, they learn about leadership, they learn about working and competing as an individual, but they also realise the importance of how you can pull together as a team. We are an exceptionally successful college with sport. Last year, last year, for the, I think, 5th year on a run, we won the Rutland and Melton varsity competition. That's all of the 6 secondary schools locally, competing in over 20 different sports over the course of the year, and we'd won it by the end of term 5. We are extremely proud of our sporting achievement, but we don't rest on our laurels either. We also entered for the first time our athletics teams into national competitions, and they went through to the regional finals, did extremely well. We're also exceptionally proud of our individual performers. Students like Ben Higgins, who's now in year 11, who is the UK sports, one of the UK sports winners. Not just locally, not just regionally, but nationally. And he's been supported through our Gold Sports Scholarship Scheme, which if you'd like to find more about how we support our sportsmen, if you go up to the library, speak to Mark Smith, our head of sport, he'll talk through how the Sports Scholars Scheme works and how students can apply for that. We offer a vast array of sports, not only through the PE lessons, but actually through our trips and visits and through our electives programme. And so, yes, you get to do the traditional sports like netball and athletics and cricket and football and rugby, but you also get access to sports like judo and skiing. If sport's not your bag and you wish to contribute in a different way, perhaps music is. Many of you will already be learning instrumental lessons, but it's not too late to pick one up. We offer a full range. We offer the traditional ones that you might find in an orchestra, the likes of the violins and the flutes. We offer the piano. We also offer more contemporary things like the guitar and the drums. And you may have also seen we've even got harpists at the front of the building. And then alongside those instrumental lessons, there's also the ensemble groups that do public performances, the likes of our Christmas concerts. We often get invited to events in the local area for Rutland to perform for dignitaries. And of course, musical instruments, a bit like sport, teach you some valuable life lessons, don't they? You have to practice. You have to practice every single day to get really good. You are going to make the odd bad note, but actually by practicing and persevering, you get better. And then eventually you get confident enough that you'll stand up and you'll perform in front of an audience. Another key skill for life. I mentioned about how learning doesn't just stop and begin in the classroom. It also is what takes place outside. And Year 7 get a very early taste of that. They go and experience a West End production. This year, students went to see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in the Day and Gate in Northampton. Last year, they went to see Mary Poppins, and those two photos at the top are of our students from Year 7 last year performing Mary Poppins, because once they've gone to see it, they come back, they learn their parts, some of them audition to become their leads, they learn the songs and they sing them, they learn the choreography, and then they have their first real taste of putting on a big production, because you as their parents will be invited in and experience it. And of course, for some of them, that's their first taste of putting on a live performance. And it grows into something much bigger, something they wish to continue with. And that's illustrated by the photographs underneath. That was last year's, our full West End production, which was West Side Story. There are chorus of dancers, choreographed by the students, performed by the students, and performed in front of a live orchestra, which is, of course, also made up of our students, who've been practicing and rehearsing for that over the course of the year. Last year, I think we are in excess of 100 trips and visits connected with the curriculum. So that's 2 or 3 every single week are going out, experiencing different elements. I haven't got time to go through all 100 of them. So here's a quick just taste and tour. So I mentioned skiing. Skiing is part of our electives programme. You can learn to ski. But of course, skiing on a dry slope isn't quite the same as going onto a proper slope, and so we take a skiing trip. This time it was out to Italy, where students got to ski and experience it for real. In history, they learn about World War I. Learning World War I from a dry textbook in a classroom doesn't do it. Going out to the battlefields of Europe and get a proper tour, see the cemeteries, experience what life in the trench is like, alongside experience French life as part of your French language studies, brings it all to life and makes it real. In geography, we study about the importance of the environment and the ecology. These students are in a jungle in Sumatra. They raised the money to go there themselves, and they did it by all sorts of different means. And then when they got there, it wasn't a holiday, it was working on an ecology project out in the jungle. And of course, they got to experience things, frankly, I'm quite jealous about, like getting as close as you and I are now to orangutans, riding on elephants, going on a canoe expedition down the middle of a river in a jungle. Real experiences. Of course, not all experiences in life are pleasant, are they? And as you can tell from the face of that young lady, she's not too impressed with snails. But isn't it an important experience to try things, even if they're not for you? And of course, that's what we do. Sometimes we have to take you out of your comfort zone, and actually maybe you will like it. And these students were, of course, in France as part of their French studies, improving their French, and of course, experiencing real French culture. These students are on a Duke of Edinburgh expedition. This, again, in the library, Mr. Mellors, who leads our D.of.E. programme, can talk you through what that's about. But about half of the students in Year 9 take D.of.E. at bronze level, and they get to go on expeditions, they volunteer in the local community, and they learn a new skill. They get to know what it's like to be out in the middle of nowhere with just a map. And they learn to cope and survive, make mistakes, and learn from them. These students are over in Italy, in Florence, and of course they're not just there to be tourists, they're there as art students, and they're doing art out in Italy. Again, another real-life context. But as I said, these are just 6 or 7. There was 100 of these experiences last year, or not all of which are open, of course, to Year 7, but over the course of the 5 years here, there's a very rich experience going on both inside the classroom and out of it. I'd like to introduce now Anand and Maisie, who are head boy and head girl. They had to apply for this position. It's probably the most difficult decision I make over the course of the year in terms of appointments. Very, very tough competition. And about the only reward they get is to do some public speaking. So perhaps they're wishing at the moment they hadn't put themselves forward. But I will hand over to Maisie and Anand to talk about their experience of Catmose life. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Catmose College. My name is Maisie Goddard, and on my right is Anand Raghavan. We are proud to be the head girl and head boy for this academic year.
The college greatly excels in academia, as I'm sure you're aware, and provides us all with a wide range of opportunities and extracurricular activities for all students to partake in, helping us learn new skills, develop our interests, and persuade us to explore out of our comfort zones.
Last year, the college performed West Side Story, which some of you may have seen and no doubt enjoyed. One of my first experiences in Year 7 was performing a solo in the production of Matilda. This was something I had never experienced before and inspired me to audition for further productions such as Beauty and the Beast and of course West Side Story.
Like Maisie, I also took part in West Side Story, playing the keyboard in the band. I'm an enthusiastic pianist, and it's a privilege to be able to play with the school jazz band. We play at many events, such as the Christmas concert, which I thoroughly enjoy. I fondly remember the Queen's birthday performance last year in Oakham Park, struggling to keep my piano on the stand in the wind whilst playing Thriller.
I have always had a passion for athletics, and Catmose has provided me with support to develop further. I've also improved in many other sports. Last year, I was part of the girls' athletics team that won the county competition, securing us a place at regionals. The college helps everyone to pursue their sporting dreams, and I was awarded a Silver Sports Scholarship, which has allowed me to meet and work with sports professionals such as Maria Batelli, the former women's volleyball captain, an opportunity which I will always cherish.
A wide range of trips are on offer for all students, and last year I was fortunate enough to visit the Houses of Parliament as part of the Academic Scholarship Programme. This helped to develop my interest in politics and gave us all an extremely valuable insight into how the laws in this country are formed. I also managed to visit San Sebastián in Spain. Here, I had an incredible insight into the rich Spanish culture and learned more Spanish, learning new phrases and communicating with the friendly local people. I particularly remember some locals thinking I was from San Sebastián, rapidly chatting to me in Basque, which I casually pretended to understand.
At Catmose, many different extracurricular activities are on offer to all the students. I completed my Silver Arts Award, where I had to plan and deliver sessions to a Year 7 group and evaluate my work. This really helped me to improve my organisational skills and also gain confidence in speaking to others.
In Year 9, I had the opportunity to complete my Bronze Duke of Edinburgh Award. It was definitely a gruelling experience, to say the least, having to sleep on really bumpy ground in the cold, but definitely worth it, as I learned to be more strategic and further improve my teamwork skills.
One unique thing about the college is the Electives programme, where students can choose between a wide range of activities, including batik, ice skating, baking brilliance, and much, much more.
I've taken part in Youth Speaks and Electives. This is a public speaking competition. I've enjoyed being the main speaker in my team, reaching the regional final. I also managed to participate in the English Speaking Union competition, where I spoke about faith and rational thought. Although we did not win, this fueled my passion for public speaking, and I'm now a member of the English Speaking Union.
I'm sure you will agree with Anand and I when we say that we have had some of the best times of our lives here at the college. So my advice to you is to immerse yourself fully in college life from the word go. Get involved. The new experiences on offer here will provide you with a wonderful set of skills for life after the college. I would like to go on to do my A-levels and eventually become a sports psychologist.
I would also like to complete my A-levels and one day hope to become a clinical geneticist. As we approach our exams, our life at Catmose is slowly coming to an end, but I will always look back at Catmose with extremely fond memories and will always be grateful to the school for all the opportunities and achievements that I have had.
Catmose is a wonderful place, and the last 5 years have provided me with so many highlights. If someone had told me that 5 years ago I would be the head girl, I wouldn't have believed it. But that's just one of the wonderful things about the college. It makes things possible. And if you dared step out of your comfort zone, you might be surprised by the results and your achievements. And the more you put in, the more you will gain. So just go for it. Catmose is so much more than a place of learning. It's a place of friendships, discovery, fulfillment, and even adventures. I too am extremely grateful to the college, proud to have been a part of it, and will leave with so many happy memories.
I urge anyone joining the school, fill the next 5 years with as much as possible. Don't leave here feeling you've missed opportunities or wishing you could have done more. 5 years may sound like a long time, but it's really not. So try everything. There's so much on offer here.
I'm sure we have given you plenty to think about, telling you about all our experiences at the college. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Well done. Thank you. Moving on, if you've not seen anything you fancy so far or what captivates you Year 6, have a look at this list. This is the Electives programme and all of the different things that are on offer at the moment. I'll just pause for a moment because I'll run out of things to say. It goes on for quite a while. And over the course of the year, each term, students choose which course they're going to do, and they'll do between 4 and 6 courses each year. And it is uniformly the most popular part of the week, not only for the students, but also for the staff, because the staff get to deliver courses they're really passionate about, that they want to do, and students, of course, see the staff in a slightly different way. At the foundation, though, of all of my decision-making and all of our staff's decision-making is quite simple. I talked about how so many staff want their children to come here. And that's because our touchstone is straightforward and very simple. If it wouldn't be good enough for our own children, and there's my two, Martha and Laura, how could it be good enough for anybody else's? And when I'm making those difficult decisions about what to do, it's these two I think about and ask myself that very simple question: would I be happy if my two children were getting involved with that? Thank you for listening.